Hello, Cordell Davenport here with SmallApartmentInvestors.com. This video series, I'm always trying to introduce someone or a concept to help increase knowledge, to help increase mindset. And one way that is very natural is to learn from other people, in particular to read information. And that's how you get a lot of game. And today it's going to be no different. Going to showcase Conrad Hilton. He wrote an autobiography. He's the founder of Hilton Hotels. Now, there's a lot of gold in autobiographies. The goal is always to look for things that you can copy and paste into your life. Well, there's some stuff here that you and I can adapt. And we have his book right here, Be My Guest. Now, Conrad Hilton's father made his living selling supplies to men working in the backwoods of New Mexico. From his store, he eventually made enough money for the family to leave behind the dusty southwest frontier. They moved to California, where it was hoped Mrs. Hilton could enjoy an easier life. Now, there was a financial crash in 1907. I know it's a long time ago, but this is when this time period was. So Hilton's father was caught actually holding a lot of stock that no one wanted to buy. Now, the family reluctantly had to move back to New Mexico from California, and they took a hard look at their assets. These included a very large adobe house next to a main railway line. The Hiltons decided to turn their house that they lived in into an actual hotel that was located near there. Now, they served meals as well, and it was only $2.50 a day. That business did well. When Conrad was 23, he'd been working for his father for 11 years, and he was finally made a business partner, but was eager to do something on his own. His dream was to own a chain of banks. At 26 years old, he had raised enough money to start a very small one of his own. The First World War happened, and in 1917, he enlisted to go to the military. He returned to New Mexico. His hometown now seemed like a toy town of adobe and wood surrounded by emptiness, he says. He had savings of about $50,000 and big ideas, but was not sure what to do. A friend of his father's gave him some advice. He said, "If you want to launch big ships, you have to go where the water is deep." He first went to Albuquerque and continued to pursue his dream of owning a chain of banks. Then another friend of his instructed him to go to Texas, saying, "There is where you make your fortune." Now, in 1920, he moved from New Mexico to Cisco, Texas, where he looked around to buy a small bank. Again, his efforts came to nothing. And one day, it dawned on him that this bustling, rundown hotel, the Mobley, might be a better proposition than owning a bank. He got talking to the owner, who, despite his good turnover and margins, was desperate to sell. The Mobley was the first of several old doggers that Hilton bought. Decrepit properties, yet with good accounts and room for upside potential. Hilton's dream now shifted to owning a chain of hotels around Texas instead of banks. He bought one, the Waldorf in downtown Dallas. Included in the manager's library was a set of books by seminal inspirational author Albert Hubbard, Little Journeys of the Homes of the Great. Though already ambitious, Hilton's idea of what might be possible grew through the stories from these people, and it helped push him forward. So you think about it, he was already ambitious. He already had a vision, and he stumbled across these other books, like from Andrew Carnegie, Peter Cooper. These great salesmen and business persons helped push him, gave him more confidence, he says. Now, Hilton, isn't that a awesome building right there? Two buildings. I don't know where that is from, but I got it online. It's a Hilton property, though. Anyhow, Hilton ran his shabby collection of hotels for several years, but began to want something more, his own Hilton hotel. The Hilton Hotel Dallas was a much bigger project than anything he had done before. He had to race against time to raise $1 million. In 1924, he broke ground on the site. After running out of money two times, in August 1925, finally, the hotel opened up. With his confidence high, he got married, had two sons, Baron and Nick. And by the time of his 41st birthday, the chain had 9 hotels, including the El Paso Hilton. That opened in the fall of 1929 and built at a great expense. It seemed like the crown of a growing empire. Yet, as Hilton says, 19 days later, the stock market crashed. Bam, he got another hit, another obstacle. Looking back, Hilton marvels at how he got through the torturous years of the Depression. Many times it seemed as if he was about to go bankrupt, and then something happened. A family friend or a business acquaintance would step in last minute, say, here's some money. And that will enable him to keep going. And he says, reflecting on his Catholic faith, he comments that in these years it seemed that it was only the gilt edged security he owned. Yet the time, energy, and constant travel required to keep things afloat also meant time away from his wife and family. And it cost him his marriage. So it's unfortunate that we always hear about things like that where a person is so much focused on business, everything else takes a backseat. Their relationships, their health. And believe me, I'm not trying to promote any of that. Families first. So, but the idea, what you're looking at, what you're hearing, that is still some philosophies and still some type of points that you can take from it, from these stories, as well as any of the stories that I present to you in my series. Now, Conrad, this is in Miami right here, Hilton, Miami. Conrad's mother tip for success in life could be boiled down to one word: pray. His father's philosophy could be reduced to another word: work. By the time he and his siblings had grown up, they had heard pray and work mantra hundreds of times. Yet his brother had noted there must have been some other ingredient that goes in, but I can't put my finger on it. Now, writing the book at age 70, Conrad Hilton recalls sitting in the ballroom of the Waldorf Astoria, which he owned, and wondering whether there was anything to be added to his parents' wisdom. It was only then, at 70 years old, he said, you had to dream. You had to have a vision. Conrad's story provides inspiration for anyone who does not yet know what they want to do, but are hungry for a big opportunity. It's just keeping our eyes and ears open at the net chance meeting, purchase, or trip may be a turning point in our lives that we may take, just as Hilton's discovery of the Mobley Hotel was to him. So you may be thinking that you want to go this way, and then all of a sudden something else pops up. You can be 100% sure, but you just have to be aware of other opportunities and don't be closed minded. Now, it does not matter if you have your fund for your life's mission or if you have achieve your dreams of whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. But as long as you are in the state of readiness to seize when it comes, that's what matters. Now, I heard the saying, there's no such thing as luck, because luck is when preparation meets an opportunity. So you have to be prepared for an opportunity. So he was prepared. Now, although, like as I mentioned, he wasn't focused on hotels, but he still knew what he wanted to do, what he wanted to build. So he just changed lanes a little bit, but kept moving. And Wikipedia says that in December 31st, 2018, there were 586 Hilton hotels and resorts in 85 countries in 6 continents. So that's amazing how this company grew. But without his vision, that's the main thing that you should get from this. Without his vision, none of this would have happened. So what kind of vision are you trying to project? What kind of vision are you trying to strive for? Well, that's the end of this series. Check out my website, smallapartmentinvestors.com, for more info, more videos, more information about buying and selling apartments. Until the next. Later, you guys.